Hey everyone, glad you're with us for the show today. We're on Okemah Lake in central Oklahoma. I've never seen this body of water before, but from what I've heard, it's a really great place to fish and there's some really nice largemouth bass. Today you're going to get to see exactly how a professional angler breaks down a new body of water. Fox Sports Outdoors starts right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Fox Sports Outdoors. I'm Andrew Upshaw, I'm your guest host for Barry this week. We're in Okemah Lake. Okemah Lake is a 450-acre lake in southeast Oklahoma. It's a really pretty lake from everything I can tell. I've never been on this body of water though. This is the first time I've ever launched this boat. You know, the thing is a lot of the lakes in Oklahoma are flooded due to a lot of rains that we've had this spring. So hopefully, and what I'm thinking is these fish are going to be a little bit shallower than usual and the water should be a little bit warm. The fish are going to be up in that water column a little bit shallower. So that's where we're going to target this week. Also, we're going to have some weekly fishing reports from your local region with the insider reporters. But in the meantime, I'm going to get this tracker boat launched in the lake in Okemah. While I do, let's get started back at FSN Studios with the Weekend Planner.
Great news, everyone. The lunar tables are indicating fishing conditions this weekend will be among the best of the month. Top activity during the daytime will begin at 12:56 on Saturday and 1:57 on Sunday. And for those of you wanting to fish at night, peak evening times will start at 12:26 Saturday and 1:27 Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 6:35 a.m. and set at 8:32 p.m. And night skies will be dark with a new moon on Sunday. Stay with us. We've got fishing reports from around the area on the way. Plus, 2015 Bassmaster Classic champion Casey Ashley joins us for this week's Ask the Pro question. Back in a bit.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
There's one on the bug. There's one on the bug. That's a nice one. So what we did is we started out in some grass along the bank. Let's go ahead and release this bass real quick. Started on some grass down the bank and we really didn't see what we wanted to fish, you know. So what we did is we came across the lake and found a windy point. And when we pulled up to the windy point, we had expectations to throw crankbaits and things like that. But we threw a worm out there to see what the bottom composition was and figured out there was some rock out there. So we picked up a 7/16 ounce hardhead with a Jean LaRue biffle bug. You know, when you're breaking down a new lake, the best thing you can do is break it down with something you have confidence in. No matter the watercolor, you can pick up a Sooner Run biffle bug on a rocky point, and a lot of times you're going to catch a bass, and that's exactly what we did here. Found a little bit of rock on the bottom, caught a bass on the Sooner Run biffle bug, and that's just a standby when you're fishing a place that has a lot of rock. So next time you're on the lake and you're breaking it down, find your rocky point, throw a biffle bug, you'll catch a bass real quick. Let's go ahead and throw it to our local fishing reports.
The next time you're on the water, if you're looking for a distinct advantage, check out the Hydro Wave by TH Marine. Not only does it mask all the sound you make in your boat, but it just gets the fish to bite by putting bait fish sounds all through the water. Check them out at thmarine.com. We'll talk to you about a topic that's kind of the hottest thing going on in this region right now, and that's night fishing. It's summertime. You can catch a lot of bass. Actually, I'm here on Kentucky Lake and it's fishing really good right now. By and large, it's probably fishing the best it's fished all summer. But if you want to beat the heat, if you want to catch a lot of really aggressively feeding fish throughout the Tennessee and Kentucky region this time of year, night fishing is the way to do it. And look, it's not real difficult. A lot of the places, the banks you catch them on in the spring and the fall in the daytime are great places to catch them at night. And you can also get out there and catch them on the ledges at night offshore. If I'm gonna fish in this region at night, I'm gonna fish a few lakes. You can catch them about anywhere, but if you wanna up your probability, I would go to Lake Cumberland, I would go to Kentucky Lake, Percy Priest, Center Hill, Dale Hollow, Chickamauga. But just get around the banks primarily. That's the easiest way to do it. Throw a big black spinnerbait, throw a black and blue jig, throw a 10-inch black and blue worm. You want something that moves a lot of water so they can find it, and man, when they find it, they bite it. Bug spray is kind of a must. Thermacel's pretty important. Your running lights and your life vests are the way to go. Guys, it's awesome in the dark on Tennessee and Kentucky. We'd love to see you here. God bless.
There we go. That's a nice one there. Oh, there we go. So we saw these fish busting up here on shad. The wind's just barely blowing up in this little channel. I picked up a topwater, threw it in there, had one bite, and just didn't eat it very good. And so what I ended up doing was I picked up the Gene LaRue bass shooter and I threw it on a bait casting rod, and I threw it on a 7-2 finesse jig rod, and I was throwing a gizzard shad colored bass shooter on an 1/8 ounce pinhead, and that thing just looks like a dying shad falling through the water. This bass, whenever I jerked it up off the bottom, came up, ate it on top of the water. He choked it down in his mouth. That's pretty much how every one of these bass are going to eat that bass shooter. But what you got to do is you take it and you push it all the way up on the jig head, just like that. And when it falls through the water, it has a really nice circling flutter fall. And that pinhead jig head by Gene LaRue allows that bait to fall just really nice throughout the water. This is the perfect bait fish size. It's a 3.5 inch bait. They're not just reacting to the bait, they're actually eating the bait. And that's really important whenever you're trying to catch a fish. You want them to eat it because they want to eat it, not just because they're reacting to it. Oh, I got him that time. I got him that time. I don't know how big he is. I can't tell. Oh, he ain't that big. I mean, he's a nice fish though, man. He's just digging hard. Color selection's so huge whenever you're trying to figure out what to catch fish on. The bass shooter is no different. Just that mustad hook is just jammed up in there. Like I might need pliers to get that thing out. We use a really high quality mustad hook on this thing. Let's see if I can get him out. Oh man, there we go, finally. Not a giant bass, but a nice one, a respectable, fun bass to catch. Color selection, like I said, is a huge way in determining how you're going to catch these fish. Like I said before, I always start out with our gizzard shad color, but bluegill is a really great color, especially when they're around bluegill beds. If the water's really dirty, that's when I go to like a black, blue, silver, or a golden June bug. A couple other color choices. But as I told you earlier today, this is a lake that I've never been to before, and I wanted to break it down like I would if I was fishing a tournament. Granted, if I was practicing for a tournament, I wouldn't have hooked all these bass. We've caught almost every fish today within a 50-yard section. We figured out the pattern. They're right on this inside grass line that's right up next to these flooded willow trees and bushes. Once we drag it right outside of the bushes and it falls down that inside grass line, these fish are just annihilating this bait. Let's go ahead and throw it to our local region fishing report, and I'm going to get back and try to catch at least one more bass before I'm done.
This part of the program is brought to you by Visit Jacksonville. Northeast Florida offers great fishing, family-fun beaches, top restaurants and resorts that are easy to get to, and offer outdoor fun for everyone. So come on, visit Jacksonville. Well, Alabama red snapper fishing has been outstanding the last few weeks. My good friend Jake Marcus over in Fairhope, Alabama, he's been taking advantage of the longer season, the extended season that the state and federal agencies have allowed anglers. They can fish on Fridays and weekends, and Jake's catching regular limits of 8 to 12 pound red snapper. We're all running 8 to 14 miles out. These are primarily private reefs. These are reefs that the anglers have put down themselves, and they got those numbers, but the fishing's been outstanding. And they're also catching some nice king mackerel along with the red snapper. As long as they're out there, the kings show up, they chum a little bit, and they do real well with those live baits also. He says there's virtually no triple tail at all in the bay. He thinks that has something to do with so much fresh water in Mobile Bay now. But there's good trout fishing at the lower end of the bay and along the Gulf beaches. Dauphin Island has been good, Fort Morgan has been good for anglers using slip floats and live shrimp. There's some good fishing for bull redfish around Dixie Bar. In southeast Georgia, Captain Greg Hildreth is really fired up over big tarpon. There's lots of big tarpon, a lot of 100, 150 pounders. Catch 1 or 2 of those and your day is pretty well made. Well, that's it for the Coastal South. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report is brought to you by Southern Saltwater Fly Fishing Magazine. This destination-oriented e-zine covers the great saltwater action on the South Atlantic and Gulf Coast from Maryland to Panama and the Caribbean islands. Subscriptions are free at www.southernsaltflyfishing.com. As we hit mid-July, the biggest obstacle for anglers is the heat. Dealing with these blistering conditions is a requisite for putting fish in the boat. One way to beat the heat is to fish in the current. On Alabama's Miller's Ferry Lake, the flathead catfish are biting around snags that break the current. The best area to fish is from Selma down to the mouth of Bogue Cheeto Creek, and you want to target the upcurrent side of the down timber in 15 to 20 feet of water. Live brim and goldfish are the baits of choice, and if you use a big bait, you could hook a flathead that's pushing 50 pounds. For a fish like that, you need a 10-aught hook and 60-pound test line. In West Mississippi, the bluegill are biting strong on Eagle Lake. Now, this old oxbow off the Mississippi River has stable water levels right now, and the brim are in 5 to 7 feet of water and hitting crickets and worms. A good summertime option in Georgia is 225-acre Hamburg State Park Lake near the town of Sparta. The chain pickerel in this old mill pond are hiding in the grass beds, and they'll hit any shiny spoon or inline spinner that passes by.
We'll be right back in just a moment. First, though, we want to pass along some of your Costa Catch of the Week photos. These entries didn't win, but we still wanted to share some of the great fish catches from around the area. Be sure to stick around for this week's winner at the end of today's show. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Oh, it's a pretty good one too. That's a great fish to wrap up the day. Oh, there he is. Oh, shoot. He's got me down in that tree. He was all the way up under there. Check that out. He was up under that tree. I thought I saw one boil up under there. Oh, it's a pretty good one too. That's a great fish to wrap up the day. Check that out. That's how they eat it right there. So we're wrapping up the day today on Okemah Lake. Fishing's been pretty good. It's been pretty steady. We found a couple little stretches that had quite a few fish, and we've revisited those stretches a few times and always caught a couple more every time we've gone in there. And honestly, everything we've been catching has been on the bass shooter. I mean, and we've caught a couple this size and a couple a little bit smaller. Lost on this, I mean, probably not even 20 feet away, we lost one that was probably 5 or 6 pounds, you know. And overall, you know, I would say that a couple more days on the lake and we'll probably really dial it in. You know, the unfortunate but fortunate thing that we figured out today was the lake was flooded enough that where all the grass was under the water. So it allowed you to fish up across the grass and drop it in those holes that you couldn't see, and it yielded bites. So with that being said, we're gonna go get off the lake. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to our fishing reports from our local region. We're gonna go get in and get a really nice cold drink of water because it's pretty hot today.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas report this week, brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, if you're in the Carolinas, along the Grand Strand, make sure you stop by the Marsh Walk and visit our location. Open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Here, it's always about the food, the view, and the music. I tell you what, I've mentioned to you about my addiction to bass fishing now. It's happened over the last year and a half, 2 years, and mainly came from having to learn to share with you what's going on in the world of bass fishing. But I'm gonna share a tip that has helped me a lot. If you can see right now, I'm throwing just a small mini buzz bait from Booyah right now. I love throwing the smaller buzz baits and frogs this time of the year. It's late in the afternoon, we're waiting on this sun to start going down a little bit, but I'm out fishing some trees over on the river, trying to find some shaded area with the fish. Picking out one thing for me to really target on and work on bass fishing wise has been probably the smartest thing I've done. Using topwater bait at this time of the year and at the great times of the year where it's most effective has really helped me in expanding my bass fishing knowledge and catching fish, and it's made it a lot easier for me. I hope it'll work for you. In the freshwater side of things also, the striped bass, again, I can't stress it enough. Early in the morning, late in the afternoon, get out on your lake. You're gonna find them feeding. You can have a great time with a Zara Spook right now. Get out with a Whopper Plopper and try it and catch some wonderful stripers in this summer heat. This has been your Carolinas report, brought to you by Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Oh, that's a big one. Oh man, that's a real big one. Oh, well, are we gonna see this fish today? He's swimming right at the boat. Oh God, that's a hammer there, guys. I'm scared to flip this one. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about. Check that out, guys. So what we did is we decided to come back to the boat ramp where we took off from. There's a release area right here. They just had a major tournament, and I said, you know what? Most tournaments that I go to, they release a couple hundred fish. They'll stay here for a few days, and we were rewarded with a really nice bass right here, right on this dock. You know, there's nothing better than finishing out your day with a giant bass, and we did it today.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday night at 6, or catch the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Chris would like to know, I'm catching lots of bass on a drop shot rig, but not hooking any big ones. Is there any secret to catching the bigger fish? For the answer, we asked 2015 Bassmaster champion Casey Ashley.
The thing about a drop shot you have to remember, it's a different presentation, and a lot of different guys use it in many different ways, different leaders, but to catch bigger fish on a drop shot doesn't necessarily mean that that's just something that you do different, you know, but I can tell you with a drop shot, my most success in catching bigger fish is you're moving the bait a lot, but you're not actually moving it, if that makes any sense. So you want it to stay in place and shake it a lot. Even, you know, your sinker's on the bottom, so even give it slack line so your bait actually makes that slow fall just like it would with a weightless worm or a weightless Senko, and then you bring it back up in their face. That a lot of times will trigger a lot more strikes and catch you some bigger fish because the bait stays in place a lot longer.
Thanks, Casey. If you have a question for one of the pros, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link on the right side of the page, and send it in. Now, one of our viewers wins a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
This week's Costa Catch of the Week winner is Tommy Aslinger of Sell Creek, Tennessee, showing a 9-pound, 3-ounce largemouth he caught from Lake Chickamauga in Tennessee during a club tournament. To enter the contest, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com, click the Costa Catch box on the right side of the homepage, and follow the instructions to send in your big fish photo. You could win a new pair of Costas, and you can see all the Costa sunglasses at their website. Just go back to our site, click the Costa logo, and you can see all the frame and lens styles, including the style I'm wearing today called Luke's in the Sunrise Mirror. In this week's episode, we started on Okemah Lake in southeastern Oklahoma. I've never seen this lake before in my life, so this was a new experience on this lake. I just went fishing. I saw the lake was really high, and I started out of instinct with a topwater. I started with the new Bill Lewis Lures Stutter Step 4.0. I had a couple really good blow-ups on it, but they didn't hook up, and I think the reason is they really weren't wanting to react on top. And that's when everything changed. Picked up the Gene LaRue bass shooter. It's a 3.5-inch bait with the Gene LaRue pinhead jig head and an 1/8 ounce, and I was throwing the weedless version on a 7.2 finesse jig, Lew's custom speed stick, and a Team Lew's Pro magnesium reel with 12-pound fluorocarbon. What I started doing and figuring out was these fish were on the inside edge of the water well line that was under the water, and they were between the bushes and the water well, and they were sitting in that little section. So all I had to do with this bass shooter is throw it up to the edge of the bushes, hop it a couple of times, and let it twirl down in front of that grass line, and that's what invoked those strikes. Caught tons of fish today, even caught a big one at the end of the day right by the boat ramp at some release fish from a tournament over the weekend. You know, the really cool thing about it is we caught them on a bait that is so unique, so different, and we caught them doing it in a way that really isn't advertised. You know, they advertise this bait to be a dock shooting bait, but we caught them casting around the bushes. Just goes to show you how much us bass fishermen know. Thank you for joining us here on Fox Sports Outdoors. I was your guest host, Andrew Upshaw. Barry's going to be back next week. I hope you can find and catch more fish here on Lake Okemah. I know I'm going to be back. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.